The George W. Bush White House lost 22 million emails, a record. NARA cannot assure complete transfer of any of the Bush records. A document shredding truck was spotted on the way to Dick Cheney's house. Can you imagine? Hillary Clinton took hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of furniture, china, flatware, rugs, and more from the White House, and she wasn't prosecuted. How about that one? She took the furniture and the china. How about if Trump did that? You think Trump would have a little problem? The horrific violations of my rights by crooked Joe Biden's weaponized Department of Injustice are unthinkable. It's unthinkable what's happened. So bad for our country. Democrats all, they lawlessly pierced my attorney-client privilege with lawyers. What they did to lawyers, what they have done to our lawyers, all of our lawyers.
Donald Trump, ponder on this for a moment. If they did that to you, Donald Trump, with all the money you have and the best legal team in the world, just imagine how they have treated Black people under the Constitution, under the legal justice system in America. Donald Trump, did you know that there are hundreds and thousands of Black people who have had lawsuits in the courts in the city of New York, in the courts in New Jersey, in the courts in Washington, D.C., in the courts in North Carolina, South Carolina, Chicago, Virginia, Detroit, Michigan, California, Los Angeles, Pennsylvania, Texas, Kentucky, Ohio, Louisiana. I can name all of the 50 whatever it is, 50 states. Yeah. And no justice. Many of them are still waiting for a case to settle. Been in the courts for years, just sitting there collecting dust because of the fact that they are considered a peasant or the undesirable or the underclass, people with little or no money. They don't or cannot afford or are denied outright through racially motivated tactics, proper legal representation to move their case along and finish it off so they can go on with their life, win or lose or draw. Yes, loads and loads and loads of Black African people, Black African people, loads. And get this, in case some of your Black friends, I don't know how many you have, but if you have any at this time, I'm not sure. But if you do, go converse with them. And they will tell you stories of people that they know or know of or have spoke to in the Black community that had lawsuits that were identical to non-Black people, and the non-Black people lawsuits settled. The malpractice that was commenced against them or their body parts or, whatever it was settled, and they received their settlement money. Meanwhile, the Black person who went through the same identical personal injury experience gets nothing or gets ignored or got ignored. There are hundreds and thousands of cases like that, Donald Trump. All of the major hotspots of places that people, tend to move in America, Black people have had civil lawsuits in the court system, and the games that were played, the making mockery of torturous behavior, and just the abuse of power and the abuse of citizens of America because of the color of their skin, being treated like less than a being, a living individual on the planet. Do you know how many of our cases, like there are legitimate lawsuits where negligence of the highest level happened, and hands down, Black people were negligently handled, if not lost their life, and nothing was done about it. We're not even talking about reparations here. We're talking about private, okay, as a private citizen, the encounters that Black people have experienced for hundreds of years, okay, under the AKA justice, okay, unjustice system of America. Just think about that.
They've done things that were absolutely horrible and unthinkable. The leaking has been unbelievable and highly illegal. They leak. We've learned more from the Washington Post, New York Times, about the DOJ's boxes hoax. It's a boxes hoax. Than from prosecutors themselves. We want to read about it. You pick up the Washington Post, which is not doing well, or you pick up the New York Times. But they'll do better now because of these things. You know, this is the only way they survive, but they'll end up dying. But it's not supposed to be that way. We don't want to learn from the Times. We don't want to learn from leaks. We want to learn from the people we're supposed to learn from. It's like a leaking sieve in Washington. But we learned nothing about the Biden bribery scheme or special counsel Robert Hur's investigation. Robert Hur is doing the Biden investigation. He's a very respected, very nice person. Very nice person. Mine's not such a nice person. Mine's a deranged lunatic, which are many times the magnitude of ours in both number and severity. That's the prosecutor that they gave. He has found nothing. He totally exonerated Mike Pence. I'm happy about that. Mike did nothing wrong, but he happened to have classified documents in his house. But they exonerated him, and Biden is a different story. I mean, so much. You have to really think about what I said. As a senator, he took all of those documents. It's unprecedented. The prosecutor in the case, I will call it our case, is a thug. I've named him Deranged Jack Smith. I wonder what his name used to be, Jack Smith. It sounds so innocent, doesn't it? Jack Smith. What's his name? Jack Smith. He's a very nice man. He's a behind-the-scenes guy, but his record is absolutely atrocious. He does political hit jobs. He's been known to viciously arrest a certain governor. You know the governor, Bob McDonnell of Virginia, and absolutely ruined his life and the life of his family. All these wonderful family members, I knew them, only to have the case overturned 8-0 by the Supreme Court. He destroyed that man and he destroyed that family. And by the way, I will tell you, I'm here and I love you all, and we can take it. But what these thugs have done to my family is a disgrace. I will tell you that. And I say it to all of the fake news because there's a lot of it back there. What they did to my family, and that young man right there, he's answered more subpoenas than any human being in the history of the world. And you know what? They have nothing after all of those subpoenas. Literally thousands of them. Congress, fake counsels, Mueller report, all of this. All he did is answer subpoenas all the time. At least he's become very experienced at that. Congratulations.